Hey everybody, Tara here, and Gina is with us too. So far we have about 6 people on, and I have enabled the chat, so if you want to say hi in there. There is a little bit of a delay, so if you write something in there and we're not responding, it just means that it's about a 30-second delay, maybe a little bit more. So don't be surprised if we seem like we're talking about things that you've already brought up. I'm going to go ahead and get into announcements. As we all know, it is Fixuary. So the 21-day fix extreme, the 21-day fix, and also the 21-day fix kickstart challenge pack. They are all on sale. Normally, let's see, the 21-day fix and the 21-day fix extreme are normally $160, and right now they're $140. The kickstart would normally be $205, and right now it's $180. And also we have the 3-day refresh challenge pack available for $140, but it is not available in Canada, although recently in one of the announcements they said it's coming soon, so that is exciting. Also listed on here is that 21-day fix extreme apparel is coming soon, but I saw some already in the Team Beachbody store, so that is exciting. And of course, we are coming to the end of the Team Cup this month, so still have time to get in some points. Tonight we're talking about success partners. Gina and I have been success partners since October. Wow, it's been so long, but yeah, it was October, around the time when the Fall Classic started. We weren't actually Fall Classic partners, but that's kind of around the time when we started talking regularly and really kept each other going. So this is what tonight's talk is going to be all about. We're going to kind of tell you all about getting partners, how to create a partnership, and have an effective partnership. So some people are still getting on, but this will be recorded, so if you miss any of it, you can always start from the beginning and watch it later. So, Gina, if you want to take it away.
Yeah, and I still can't see the webinar stuff, but I guess it'll be fine.
Okay.
As long as everyone else can see and hear me. That's fine.
Yes, I can see and hear you, so I think it should be good. Nate, if you want to post in the chat that everything is good, because I know you're in the attendees, or anyone. Actually, no, Nate disappeared. So, Christy or Billy, Billy Exer, or Tony. Those are our people in the chat. Anyone, just say hi. I'll say hi to make sure it's working.
Because I can't see the chat, so.
Okay, I think it should be fine. I'll keep tabs on that, so.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Do you want to wait until Nate comes back to get started?
He'll be able to catch it later because we have 5 YouTube viewers too, so we are, yeah, so 10 all in all.
All right, so let's go.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, so we are going to start just with this little thing about partners. We're going to walk, like Tara said, we're going to walk through the whole thing. And, okay, sorry, I got a message from Nate. So I guess it's working fine. Okay, so success partners.
People in the chat now that saying hey, so it was the delay that no one was responding, so we're good.
As long as, so they can hear me, so we're good. If they start saying they can't see what I'm doing, then just let me know, and I'll stop. Otherwise, I'll just go. And so I'm going to be showing there's like 11 slides. I'm not going to read them all to you, and there's a lot more information than you're going to see on the slides, and that will all be available later. So we will just start with the stuff on here. So like this says, through partnerships we can contribute our small part and reap the benefits of everyone's effort. We can accelerate learning and distribute skills and knowledge. That's pretty much what we do anyway as the Commit Crew. And so I'll talk just briefly what is a success partner. Those of you who already have someone already kind of know the answer to this, but wanted to just let you know the things that Success Partners First are not. So a success partner is not a mentorship sort of thing. It is not somebody who's been in the business a long time helping a new coach. A success partner is someone who you are kind of on the same path as. So you, like Tara and I, we're kind of in the same place in our lives. We're in the same place in the business. We're both building our business. We have the same goals. So that is what you want to look for in a success partner. And there's always the people who do it a little differently. So it's definitely not a hard and fast rule. So for example, like Nate and Christy, Christy was a new coach, but she, as we all know and listened to the call before, she jumped right in, she was on her game, and she just blew it out of the water. And so her and Nate became success partners and have been amazing working together. So it can go either way, but the main thing to realize is that a success partner in our Beachbody business is someone who you're on the same path with. You're both leaders in your partnership. Yeah. So the key components to partnerships, and this is kind of just in general, and I'll go briefly into each one of these. If you have questions, you can certainly ask, and Tara can always jump in and talk about these too. So there are 5, and the first one is leadership. And like I just mentioned, leadership in a partnership means that you're both leaders. There's not one leader and a follower. You both have to kind of step up. Number 2 is common understanding. And this goes in a lot of different sort of roles. You need to understand a lot of different things. But the main ones are the framework, so how you're going to communicate with each other during your partnership. The culture, so sort of like to know about the other person, and for Beachbody business, this can get really personal. Where they are in their workouts, where they are in their lives, where they are in their business. So for example, a common understanding with Tara and I know not only Tara and where she wants to go with her business, but I know where she lives and that her husband's in Germany and she has 3 daughters and I've met them. So the common understanding role in this is big because it has a big part to play in your why. And then the values that you also will need to know as far as the understanding are your why. So your why for working out, your why for your business. The purpose that you both need to be aware of in your partnership, that's just going to be your goal. That one's pretty easy. And with the culture and values, this is the acceptance of differences. And so I just want to briefly touch on the fact that differences are not a bad thing. So you need to understand that you all might work in different ways. Totally cool. Tara and I are not exactly the same. It probably wouldn't work if we were. So differences are a great thing, and they're going to help you kind of step up in the leadership role in different ways. And then the last one is learning and development, which is what we do all the time through professional and personal development anyway. But you want your partner to promote the opportunities so that you all can shape each other and you can shape each other's work and learn together, especially in a business like this that's always changing and always growing. So those are going to be our key components, and there's a lot more details that we could talk about with those, but we won't do it tonight on this call.
And I wanted to chime in on differences because I totally agree that differences are not bad. If you're exactly like the person you're working with, there's a good chance that your weaknesses are going to be their weaknesses, and you guys might just kind of fall into slumps together. Whereas if they have strengths that you don't have, then you can learn from them in those areas, but more as a peer-to-peer relationship where you're learning from them and they're learning from you because there are things that they're good at that you aren't, and vice versa. So differences are actually probably pretty important because if you're the same, you're probably going to stay right where you are. You don't have anything to help you move forward. So great job, Gina. Everything is going great so far. So
yeah. All right, and so the first thing I really wanted to touch on, and this is exactly what we were just talking about, are the barriers that are going to come up and kind of stand in the way of successful partnerships, or use those differences, use those barriers to grow it even stronger. And so some of these, and I don't know. Some of these are going to sound kind of harsh and like you can't get over them, but every one of these you can overcome. And Tara and I both had other success partners that we sort of started with before we found each other, and they didn't work for various reasons, and all of those reasons are valid and okay. And all of the people, the 2 people I had before Tara, and I think she had 1 partner before me, they've all gone on. I don't know if they have other, defined success partners right now, but it is okay. So some of the barriers, I'll go through this pretty quickly, is a lack of clear purpose and inconsistent level of understanding. So if you don't know where you're going, you're obviously not going to have a clear path to get there. So this is our why, which is what we push all the time. The second is a difference of philosophies and manners of working. So different philosophies is okay. Going about things in different ways is great. But if you want to work totally during the day, my manners to work are working in the morning from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. and Tara only likes to work from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., it's just not going to work. And so that's something that you need to overcome. 3 is lack of commitment and unwilling to participate. I think we see this a lot in challenge groups and with people in our challenge groups. So if you have the same sort of person who's wishy-washy, a partner who doesn't respond all the time, that is probably the biggest barrier. I would think that you would need to decide if to overcome it is worth it or if you want to, kind of move on and find someone else. And then 4 is failure to communicate. This one's pretty obvious. If you're not going to talk to your success partner, it's not going to work. I mean, Tara and I go weeks where we talk every day. There are some weeks where we talk every couple of days, but there's always some kind of communication on the weekend, just, hey, how was your week? Even if that's all it is. And then the last one is failure to learn. If you don't want to get anything out of your partnership, then there's no reason to have it. So if you're not learning, there's really no reason. All right, these 3 steps we're going to go over in the next 4 different slides, and so there's going to be a little bit more detail, but these are how we are going to form our success partners, how we're going to form these partnerships. And forming is, you're going to see that in this presentation, and a lot of these slides are from a government committee for compassion and understanding, and they use forming very similar to how we do. So the first step is going to be defining the need for a partnership. So why do we need it? Step 2 is starting the process, getting the ball rolling, deciding if this is the right partner for you. And then step 3 is setting up, maintaining your partnership, making sure you're each in it for the right reasons, and keeping each other on track. And then the end of it will be evaluation and continuing or ending the partnership. So the first one is defining the need. The most important part is the first thing, and I'll read this to you. The goal of partnerships is to achieve more than an individual can achieve on his or her own. That is what we do for Beachbody. That is what we do with our participants. It is what we do with our coaches. It is what we do with our success partners. And so the reason I have Tara is, obviously my example, is to achieve more with her help than I could do on my own. And one good example, and I won't give personal examples for everything or we'd be here all night, but for why I need Tara is that I tend to get relatively jealous a little easily of other people's success. So when someone else is doing amazing, the first question I think of is, why can they do it? Why can I not? And this is one of the amazing things about Tara, is that she is continuously there for me to not only say, this is why we're going to be happy for this person, and this is why we're going to celebrate what they're doing, but also, you can do it, and she makes me realize either why I'm not doing it or what I need to do to get there. And so that is my need. That's what I need. So you need to identify your self-interest. Think about what that partner can accomplish with you, but also what they can help you with. And it sounds a little bit like you're putting yourself first, but it's really not. You need to know what you're going to get out of this relationship. And there's 2 different things. Short-term interest, what do you need to get out of the next 6 months to stay engaged? And then the long-term, what do you need to get out in the next 12 months, 24 months to stay engaged in the partnership? And those questions can come later, but they're definitely something you want to talk about with your partner. Step 2 is starting the process. So once you have found someone, and you have kind of decided, this is what I need, I respect you, I'm going to recognize that you're a great coach, and we're at the same place, let's get something started. So there's going to be 4 stages in developing your partnership. And you want to form the partnership first. You bring the 2 people together, which would be you and your other person. And then the second step is storming. And I have meeting in quotations because very few of us actually kind of meet personally face to face. A lot of us, and I think most of us, are at least a few states apart. So this meeting can be online. But you meet a few times, you realize what your role is going to be in the partnership. And so it's really important to work through this stage so that you're open and honest about your goals so that you know if it's going to work. And then the next one is norming, and this is where you come to an agreement about what you want your goals to be. So you can each have different goals. Tara and I may have completely different goals, as she wants to do this as is kind of her only job right now, and she's teaching classes and she's a great mom, but I have a full-time job, and so our goals are a little bit different, and that's fine, but you just want to know where you want to end up. And then number 4 is the performing. That's the actual partnership, what you're doing, and then you want to evaluate and monitor as you go so that you know if it's working. And then this is going to really kind of hit home a lot as to Beachbody. Some of this stuff is kind of generic. This I'm going to kind of get into how this relates specifically to us. So the checklist, and this is only a small sampling of the questions. There are a lot more, but I just kind of took the big ones that really related to us. So you want to identify your potential partners. So who is going to be your success partner? And this might be where you don't know. And if you want to find someone who you already know who you get along with really well, you know who you'd be great with, that's awesome. I would still check with your upline, especially if you don't know who. I worked with Nate, and I think Tara worked with Nate too, to kind of get with our other partners. We realized it didn't work, and eventually we kind of ended up with each other. And like Nate told me one time, like, I don't know why I didn't think of that first, like why you two didn't just end up together. So you got to have to identify the person. Once you identify that person, you guys will talk. You're going to share your vision, share your goals, and you're going to determine your plans and priorities. So this is going to be the really important part, and kind of you're going to know if the partnership's going to work. So you're going to decide, number 1, why you're setting up this partnership, 2, what you're going to achieve, and 3 is your timeline. So you're going to do those 3 things. If this is going to work for you, then you're going to jump right in. So you're going to determine the function and nature of the partnership. And with Beachbody, we're not doing a lot of stuff necessarily together unless you live near each other, like fit clubs. But you could have a strategic partnership where you really are planning your business, what you're doing week 1, week 2, week 12, week 15. It could be a networking sort of partnership where I know Tara's huge into network marketing. She does a ton of blogging, a ton of learning about all of that stuff, so she's a great resource. And then we have the project-based ones. The project-based, I think, would be more like the fit clubs, and I know that Tara and Molly work together since they live near each other. They've met with groups of people, and so that is great to do if you're kind of close to each other. It could also be challenge groups that you run together, free like healthy eating groups, anything like that. So it doesn't have to just be the big stuff. It can be the online stuff too. And then sorry, I was looking at the messages. I think this might be blurry for some people. I apologize if it is. Hopefully that will all get worked out.
Looks fine. So hopefully the recording will be fine.
Okay, yeah. And we can make this available anyway, so you can go back and look at it later. And then lastly, you want to identify the benefits for both members. So this, as Beachbody coaches, we have all done a vision board at one point or another, and so this is the same thing. So what do you want to get out? Do you guys want to plan together how you're both going to be Diamond by Summit, which is our goal? Yes. So these are just your goals. And again, that's kind of the most important thing, because there's no reason to have a success partner if you're not going to have your goals. All right, and then the last step of a successful partnership is to just maintain it. So you want to always, always, always keep in mind that partnerships need to be reviewed. So is there a genuine shared vision and set of goals? And then is there communication or a good communication strategy in place? And if you find that there's a problem, these are going to be the two questions that you're going to need to answer. If you notice that you're just not clicking, or you don't talk enough, or you're just not getting something out of the partnership, then ask yourself the first question. Maybe you guys aren't on the same page. You don't have a shared vision, and so it's time to revisit that. Or maybe you just haven't figured out a great communication strategy to use. And we are going to, and it does say pace, that should be place, but we are going to talk a little bit more about the technology that we use in order to communicate. So we'll go over that in a little bit.
What the heck? I don't have it on mute. That's when I get a phone call.
All right, and then once you're in your partnership, you're rolling with your success partner, you are going to want to just pay attention to how you should behave in your partnership. And I'm not going to go into each of these, but just briefly, you want to be sure that you have partnership norms. Know that know your communication, how you're using your resources, how you're making decisions. You want to be sure that you have those structures there for open and honest communication. You want to be sure that you have work plans that you collaborate together. So you come up with your ideas together. Not one of you is putting them into place and the other one's necessarily following. You can use technology to manage your partnerships, which Tara and I do a ton. And then lastly, and I think maybe most importantly, is you need to evaluate and monitor. So instead of just rolling with something that's not working, really think about what is best for you and what's best for the other person, because there's a pretty good chance that if the partnership isn't working for you, it may not be working as well as it could for the other person either. All right, and then lastly, when you get to that point, every success partner pair is eventually going to have to consider their partnership or ending their partnership, and that's not a bad thing. So just like we talked about earlier about differences being okay, differences being good, so is this. If Tara and I both got to the point where we were both whatever diamonds, and I'm sure Nate has been there too, when he became so successful, that your partnership really needs to change. You know, maybe you need to take on more of a leadership role as your team grows. And so it's a great thing if you get to that point. So just always remember that transitioning is fine. And you can use that time when you get to that point. Both of you will probably know it. And when you get there, you're already going to be great friends. You're going to talk all the time anyway, so it's not going to be an awkward conversation. And you're going to use that time to just kind of renew your goals and commitments, come up with new goals together. What are you going to do next with your team? And then you can continue to work together. And then others might find that it's time to just kind of end this success partnership, maybe find someone else, maybe the other person needs someone who's still more on their page. And so it's part of the natural cycle of learning, natural cycle of relationships, is we all kind of get to that point where we have to build it or change it so it helps us with where we are now, because hopefully we all continue to grow. So this is definitely not a stagnant sort of process. We have to keep going and growing. And that is it for the slides.
All right, so we wanted to follow that up with just a short demo of what we actually, some of the things that we do to let me stop having it stuck on you. All right, so some of the things that we do, all right, so we're going to kind of run you through. We use Google a lot. We love Google. The webinars on air format is through Google Hangouts. So me and Gina actually do these Google Hangouts just one-on-one. We try to do them every week. I've been in kind of a slump lately, which she has helped keeping me on track, you know. Just having her as my partner kind of gets me into this, you know, side of like, almost where I almost feel like I have to pull myself out of it so that we can work together. Because if I'm useless, then so that's part of the motivation. Is it just keeps your morale up. So we have these Google Hangouts once or twice a week, but we also use a lot of other Google products or programs, or however you'd say it. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And this is my Google Drive. So let's see, there we go. So I will show you, okay, if you look in here, this file right here, Gina and Tara's Beachbody stuff. So in this folder, anything I put in this folder, automatically she has access to. And you can see the same thing down here. My team, Molly is building a team with me, and our team is Team Mind Body Balance. Anything in here, she can see and she can edit. All right, but I'm going to show you our folder. Here's our Coach Basics. This is for, the team call tonight. Anything else that we are talking about is in here. All right, and I think I'm going to actually show you with the presentation. So if Gina, if you want to have your presentation up, even though you're not screen sharing it, and we can show them how we do this in real time. Let's see. So if you look here, she's looking at this presentation the same way I am. All right. If I want to say, if she clicks on anything, I can see immediately where she's clicking. And this over here, it'll show me a picture of her, and it'll show me what slide she is looking at. So we can be looking at the same slide. See, and there's a little mark there. It says Gina Simpson. So she's at her computer in Virginia, and I'm here in Iowa, and we're looking at this at the same time. I could highlight this, or here's a good example. Where was the typo? See, so I can say, I can highlight that, I can hit the comments, I can hit a comment and say, is this what you meant? Is this the right word? And then she will get a message, and it will direct her to this, and she will get to see what I am commenting about. Or if I thought, hey, I don't like the wording of something, and see, she can comment back to me. Then we resolve it. So we can work. There's a chat, so you can talk while you're looking at whatever document it is you're collaborating on. You can see changes that the other person makes. You can do everything in real time. It's just a really awesome tool to be able to collaborate together, and it's a lot easier than sending drafts back and forth. It's just you can do everything together at the same time without having to be next to each other on the computer. And it's not just slides. We can do this with docs and spreadsheets or anything. So when you guys fill out the forms for I'm not actually going to open them because I don't want to show everyone's answers. But when you guys do the forms, all of the answers populate on a spreadsheet. So we can sit here and look together through the answers on the spreadsheet, and we can go through it all, and we have the same exact information right there on our own Google Drives. So it's not like she has to go through her email and search through for something that I sent to her. She has it right in her own Drive. So if you're not using Drive right now, I would really highly recommend it, because you can create a folder for tons of resources. You could put all of the documents from the back office into a folder to make them more easier to access, and you'd have that all shared between you and your partner or you and your team. So there are just so many different ways you could use it. And but that's the main way. When we're developing trainings and stuff like that, it's a really easy way for us to work together without sending drafts back and forth between the two of us. So can you think of any other way we use that? I'm trying to.
No, it works perfectly. Yeah. And I use it. I teach middle school, and so we use it a lot in school. My students use it to type back and forth, and so it's great in tons of different ways. And I have 30 students all working on one document. So it's not just two people. It could be a big group of you guys too.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you can have anyone who has the link can look at it and make comments. Like, you don't have to give everyone access to edit. You can just give people the access to comment on it so then they can make their notes, and then you can go through and see what you want to change and what you want to keep, or just what other people's input is. But yeah, I think that definitely use technology. It's there, and it's so much more effective than just typing on Facebook. You know, and even maybe you don't like video chatting, maybe you would rather talk on the phone, but I think it's really important that you hear your success partner's voice and that you are actually talking in real time, because we have such a deeper connection from that first time that we talked on video chat that I can't imagine us having the relationship we have if we didn't video chat. There's just no way we would be as close as we are. Like, I mean, Gina sent Christmas gifts for me and my girls, you know, and it's just like we would not be that close if we didn't actually talk to each other on a regular basis, face to face. Because, you know, it feels like when we meet at Summit, it's going to feel like we already know each other. I'm excited. But, yeah, I think that about wraps it up. And I don't know, make it come full circle somehow. But
I think that how you all your takeaway from this call should really be to think tonight, if you don't have a success partner, who it should be, or start talking to your upline. Kind of come up with a list of who it should be. If you don't know names, you don't know people who you definitely want to work with, come up with a list of things that you want in your success partner. When do you want to talk? When's the best time for you? Not tonight if you don't have someone, because this is valuable.
all right, things are starting to cut up now, so we should break up. So it's good timing because we're pretty much done. But yeah, it was starting to get robotic sounding. But yeah. So I'm going to stop the broadcast, but I'll post a link. Actually, the YouTube link I posted on Facebook in the Commit Crew page is going to be the YouTube link for the recording. It's the same exact page, so you can click on that right away, save it to watch later, especially if you came in late. But yeah, thanks for coming tonight, and I hope you guys got a lot out of this. Thanks for getting a lot of this information together, Gina. It was mostly her. I was just here for support. All right, good night.